ready. You see, I was gonna try to do the.
I think like the high notes.
Yeah, because you know.
I mean, Natalie always sings. She's that little sibling, typical that will sing anything.
And.
But now that this is a musical, she's.
I can't outshine people.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta keep this just in here.
Just to yourself.
I don't want to give it to you guys.
I think it's so funny. We're very different in that sense. I do not like musicals, but and Natalie is converting me.
I've converted her because we watched
The Greatest Showman.
The Greatest Showman, and then I told her, I was like, I want to see Wicked. You know, we saw Gladiator. We both want to see Gladiator too. But then I was like, we need to go see Wicked. And I think I convinced her.
And she's convincing me. That's why we did this whole episode.
Away.
You sounded like that George of the Jungle scream. That did not sound like what you thought it was gonna sound like. You thought it was gonna sound like Wicked, put me on Broadway. No, not at all. I think that's also another reason why I hate musicals. Because it's like a musical in my house every day. But this one. You really tried. When you're editing this, I want you to zoom into your face when you do that. Because she really tried. She's not even joking, guys. She's embarrassed. Do it again, do it again.
No, just go.
Just go. Alright, welcome to another episode. I can't.
It feels so nice
Alright. I should sing to make you feel better.
Alright.
Alright. I don't even know what that is. Okay, on this episode, we're talking all about...
Girl, you can't even see your color. You gotta unbutton it. You gotta... I said unbutton it.
No, because I'm insecure about my chest. I don't know. Does it look... I feel like I'm too pale for this.
No, you're not.
Like...
No.
That's why I didn't want to do it.
No, I take it back.
I'm gonna go like this.
Girl, there's no point in me wearing this if I can't
screaming. Calm down. Jesus.
Lily.
Jesus. Okay. All right, ignore this.
Jesus didn't ask me to do that.
It's just like I feel like look at this, the skin tone. That's different.
I don't see anything. That's just a shadow.
Okay. Who's that shadow holding me hostage? Okay.
I've been here for days. Because we're moving on to our next segment.
Well, first off, let's start off with what we're wearing, Natalie, since you brought that up.
I am wearing my mom's cardigan, green cardigan. It has a little collar.
R.I.P. Queen.
Little collar. Yeah, very extravagant color.
Love it.
It's a button down. I'm wearing the Aloe goddess rib go-to tank in white. Underneath that, I'm wearing my bra, just so you know. And then I'm wearing some Zara pants. And then I don't have my golas. These are.
She copied me, y'all. Look at her. She's copying me.
No,
they look exactly like these. Look.
Technically, you copied me. No. I got these last year for Thanksgiving. No. These were my little gift to myself. Big. My foot is big. And what, bitch? And what?
Saw that. Sorry. Okay. What? I'm wearing this Reformation cardigan that I wear all the time. I'm wearing this. This is vintage, y'all. Wet seal. Little like lace, like. Is it like a spaghetti strap? Yeah, spaghetti strap. It looks like something you'd wear to sleep, but like I'm trying to make it look cute, you know?
How risky. Something Sabrina Carpenter would wear for
no bra.
Sport, short, risky. And sweet.
Yeah, that's what I'm giving. It's just I don't know. I feel a little bit insecure. Like this is a little. I'm sorry. Like,
am I the wicked witch of the West, or is it Leslie?
Okay. Anyways. Also, I thought I was gonna be Elphaba. And Natalie's like, no, you're Glinda.
It only makes sense because of her hair.
Yeah, I know.
And then, no, this is funny because we had first said, you know, I was going to wear pink and then she was going to wear green. And then, shut up. And then I told her, I was like, okay, I saw this TikTok audio that people were doing. And I was like, okay, Leslie, it only makes sense if I am Alphaba, and you are Linda.
Natalie just wants to be
Because I said, I have dark hair and you have blonde hair.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense.
And then, when we were going to film it, this girl walks out with green. I'm looking at her as I'm wearing this, and I was like, why are you wearing green? She goes, you're supposed to wear pink. And I go, we agreed. And she said, oh. And then she's like, let me go change.
Don't make me laugh. ¿Cómo le hace? Sorry. Alright. Yeah. And you want me to watch Wicked. If you guys know the audio. When they sing Popular.
Oh.
Cut the show.
I'm sorry. My dreams were when you said no. And so I was like, okay.
When I said no to what?
To watching it. You know?
I said yes.
No, the first time you said
Oh, the first time. Yeah. But then I came around to it. Because it's Glicked Week. That sounds weird.
Glicked?
Yeah, because Gladiator, Wicked.
No, they changed the name.
Oh, it sounds a little bit risque to me.
Gladiator.
Okay. Both of those names are not accurate.
Actually, I don't know.
Let's go into our next segment.
I'm just a girl.
If we ever get copyrighted, I'm sorry, Gwen.
No, what if she comes on and she goes, you know?
Manifesting. Gwen,
and she's like, don't worry, guys. We're going to do the...
Yeah. Take it away, Gwen. And then she just pops out.
Maybe I should just put her face on me as I'm singing it.
I feel like we'll get copyrighted.
Why?
I don't know.
She put out for the whole world to hear.
For all the girls.
But I'm just a girl.
Okay. Well, it's our Yap Hour session. Let's bring it to... We just watched Gladiator a few days ago.
Dotes.
Guys.
Paul Mescal.
Better than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I've been hearing a lot of comments, a lot of things of people being like, how could he cheat on his wife? It destroys everything that the first Gladiator... Babes, if you didn't understand the first Gladiator, there was so much underline to it of like they loved each other, and technically Lucius is older than his younger son, meaning they had the child together. He couldn't marry her because she was betrothed to another, and so he had to let that his first love go to then go start his family. Guys. So I don't understand when people are like, this, that, like, yeah. Anyways, that movie was beautiful. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it.
Tears were shed.
Tears were shed more than I thought tears were going to be shed.
There was laughs.
There
was this one thing that they did.
It was gory.
There was gory. There was this funny because there's one thing that, I forgot what part of the movie it is without spoiling. And they made a joke. And me and Leslie and this girl on the other side of the theater laughed. And then this guy goes, shh. And I go, you shut up. Because I was like, I'm sorry. Did we not get the context of this joke?
Like, this is another thing. This might be controversial. I understand that movies like this have to be seen in the movie theater. I understand that context because you need to have like the sound system. You need to have the film. You need to have this, that.
Darkness.
But can we also talk about the fact that less and less, because people are making it feel like awkward, like I don't know what it is, but like you can't enjoy it. Like I feel bad laughing at a joke that they're making because people are gonna shush me.
Like
I feel bad like clapping at the end of the movie because people are just like give me the dirty eye. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm like I think like people who go to the movie theaters now aren't like.
My thing is like, did we forget when we would go watch the Avengers movies?
Yeah.
When we watched all the new ones, especially the last one, and then when we watched the last one that was Spider-Man, everyone's reaction,
and I think that also has a lot to do with like the people that go see it,
also you're like invested to it, you're a fan, you're the one that's like falling in love with the characters.
It makes you feel guilty for enjoying it. So I understand that movies like that have to be seen in the movie theater, but I prefer in a way to watch them at home in the safety and comfort of like if I want to laugh at something Denzel Washington said, I could laugh, and people aren't gonna shush me.
I was like, girl,
and I'm like, okay.
I said, let the queen laugh, let her laugh, let her cackle.
Yeah. Also, like, I don't know, like even like if like there's like a part, like I don't know, like you just feel like you can't interact with the movie as the same. If that makes any sense.
If I interact.
Anyways, is that just me?
It so I can go pee because I'm almost 2 hours and 28, and I was like, I need to think logically. Should I drink my whole icy right now?
Should I just not?
At the end of the movie. And then by the end, it's just gonna be all watery.
Yeah.
So I was like,
yeah.
Also,
either
way, I was eating popcorn, and I didn't want to say it, but I was like holding it in a popcorn kernel.
Yeah,
like,
also that, I
and
can't
I was like,
cough.
and I was like, and I was
You're
like,
like,
I'm decided to take it in. And I was like, I'm so sorry.
So, yeah, so those are kind of the things. Besides that, though, great film.
Great film.
Also, another thing, too, like, I don't want my laughter to, like, make somebody feel like, oh, it was the worst movie experience because this person laughed. Like, I'm sorry. Anyways.
I felt like in the...
I did. I feel connected to the characters. Like, I feel like I have to vocalize and be like, yo, this is great. Anyways, it wasn't just me. There was other people who were also doing it, and they were getting shushed as well by that one person. So, anyways, what is next on our Girl Yapping Hour?
This one's a little bit more of a sadder note, but it is something that's related to fashion, is related to, as we know, like costume design, a good well-known series, Peaky Blinders.
Which are making the movie.
They're making the movie. Their costume designer.
She passed away. And they put a thing out.
A statement out, yeah. And it's sad because it's like, this is a person that was was with them since the beginning of the series, that really like created the looks, and those are the looks that right now, like, if you think about it, sometimes we recreate when it comes to like recreating Peaky Blinders or like anything, like us trying to mimic her design of the characters, and we
for like Halloween,
for X, Y, and Z, and also this is like the outfits, the looks that we will see, and we'll be like, okay, this is a very Thomas Shelby thing, or this is a very much of the Aunt thing, or whatever, like. And so to see that her legacy still will carry on with Peaky Blinders in the film, and that for those in the fashion costume design world will be, our heart is heartbroken just because of such a great talent, you know?
Yeah. They wrote like the statement on here, and her name was Stephanie Colley, and it says, incredible work in our first series, was the key creator to the iconic look for the Peaky Blinders. And she has inspired so many around the world, which she has with that look. So it's sad in the costume design world. And then, I don't know, it's also nice to know that like her legacy lives on. If you haven't seen Peaky Blinders, if you're not a fan of Peaky Blinders, I encourage you to go watch it for the costumes alone. But yeah,
very historically well thought out for.
Yeah. And also like I like the hat, like there's like a lot of like details that like have to do with the series. I'm not gonna spoil it
if you haven't watched
it,
but you know.
But yeah, that's pretty much
those
all
are
for our Yap Hour.
Oh, Paul is gonna be in SNL. We forgot to mention
Paul
that.
Mescal.
I don't know. She's like, we should say that Paul's gonna be in SNL, and I said he's gonna be in SNL.
I'm sad. This is the thing. I feel like for anyone who's seen him since Normal People, like you've been a fan of his, and there's people who are now discovering him because of Gladiator. All I'm gonna say is yes, he did do amazing acting since the beginning.
Yeah.
So we've been knowing. So I'm excited to see how he does comedy, because I feel like he usually does drama.
You know what would be when worlds collide? When I see him and Niall Horan together. My two Irishmen.
Also, Peaky Blinders, Cillian Murphy. Crazy. Oh, wow. Okay. Maybe, you know, I think, do we have any listeners in Ireland? I don't know. We gotta check.
Check that out.
Yeah.
If we do.
This is for you.
This is for you. Anyways, that is the end of our
I'm Just a Girl.
Oh, you sing it with me.
Yeah, because it's a musical, so.
Alrighty. Let's move on to our next topic.
Yeah, I was going to sing everything. I'm not going to sing.
Okay, then. Hi, I'm Natalia.
And I am Leslie Marie.
And this is the We Are Fashionaly Late podcast,
where we talk about
the clothing we wear and the untold, very true stories about why we wear what we wear.
I thought you were going to sing it.
I was, and then you kept looking at me.
Do
like,
it!
I felt embarrassed.
I won't look. I won't look.
No, I'm not that type of person.
Yes, you are.
I'm serious.
Okay. All right, let's start with the first topic.
Because I wasn't prepared. Go on.
I feel like you're also singing High School Musical now when she says, try. Nellie's singing all the musicals today. Okay.
That was my first musical.
Let's go back.
Get your head in the game. Get your head in the game.
Yeah. All right. Let's get our head back in the game. So, in order to talk about Wicked, I feel like Wicked, we're going to talk about it, right? About its presence in Broadway, about how now the movie... The milk. I don't know why I said milk. The film. Yeah, I was trying to do two at the same time. But we also have to talk about the OG, what kind of started it all, what kind of inspired it all.
What's the story?
What's the sitch? The Wizard of Oz, right? So why is the Wonderful Wizard of Oz iconic? And this is a 1939 film, right? So first thing, there's a lot of universal themes like searching for home, self-discovery, courage, friendships, and all of these things that kind of resonate with audiences throughout time, I feel. And it could be from a young age, from an older age, from a, you have nostalgia if you grew up watching films like that. The second is, I think Dorothy's character is timeless. Also, all the other characters, right? Like the Scarecrow and the Cowardly Lion and the Tin Man. And
which there's a lot of Easter eggs in the Wicked film.
About that. Which also, I'm kind of curious, are they going to make their own Wizard of Oz to kind of fit into the Wicked? Because there's another thing, too. The timelines are kind of, it's like the first half of Wicked, then it's the Wonderful Wizard of Oz, and then it's the second half of Wicked. So that's kind of how things are happening in between.
No, I think it's the first one, and then the second one of Wicked is then connecting to the
something like that. Yeah. So it's like it's kind of put together. It's like happening at the same time. It's weird.
It's like I think like in the middle of the second film of Wicked, from what I've heard, that's when it starts connecting to the Wizard of Oz, the Wonderful Wizard of Oz. So, the story
of like both of them connecting them, which I think that's also like very kind of cool, that it's happening at the same time. And so another thing too, I think during the film in the 1930s, it was a very like major movie for the for not only like Judy, but also for like everyone a part of it. There was a lot of things that happened behind the scenes that are kind of a little bit scary and dark, and I'm sure you can go down a rabbit hole for that.
Go on TikTok. You'll find it.
And it's kind of crazy. There was a lot of things with the props. There was a lot of things with the settings. There was also a lot of things with like the actors.
The actors and the background actors.
And so... And it wasn't just like a drama thing. It was like real health and safety issues. Because of the time, they didn't really have regulations like we do now in films, So there's also that. I think there was a lot of like lore that came with that film, and that's kind of like made its way through that we kind of still talk about. There's also a lot of symbolism in the film, which had to do with like the political and economic times and even social issues during that time. And so these characters kind of show bits of that, which again, it's more of like a history lesson if you want to go back to that time period.
Without it being like
driven like in your face. I think
the underlining
the underlining of it, everything kind of affected it. Also, it was a very like world building, very like imaginative. It was very new in the sense of like the colors and like all of these things.
It's like kind of like, if you think about it, like it's like your own like world. Like you created your own world. Like as a kid, like a kid, you think of
Candyland
like that. So I feel like the story couldn't have been written well for that period of time with what was going on, like economically, politically, and all that stuff. Especially for adults, like to go back into that like kid mindset. And even though the Wonderful Wizard of Oz was probably projected more for kids, but if the adults watched it, they would like get a lot of like the underlining of what the story was trying to
because
get to.
It shows you with even like her leaving Kansas, you see what like kind of a typical life was like in that time in America, versus like this wonderful land that was like mystical and colorful and bright and like all of these things that kind of resonated.
You got like a lot of skills with it. Like her character learned a lot of skills and whatnot.
Like a lot of
like the courage, like stuff that you always want to teach your kids to do and stuff like that. So I feel like Yes, it was for the kids, but it was also for the adults during that time.
It was also for the adults. So those are really why it's been very memorable, and not only during that time, but how it's kind of transcended through time. So with its legacy, right, beyond like the original book and film, it's been adapted into stage plays. It's been adapted on Broadway, and it's been kind of how you were saying. It's kept like moral lessons throughout time.
Yeah.
But it's also inspired new things like Wicked.
Yes, because I feel like if people who didn't know the connection between the two, they would think it's two separate things. But for those that are fans of the Broadway like
Wicked.
musical theater thing, Wicked, and those that love Dorothy and the Wonderful Wizard of Oz, if you didn't know, those were connected. So I feel like in the Broadway spect, for that such a big, huge number that is well known, that we've seen a lot of well-known actors play those characters in the Broadway, come into a movie screen. Well, now everyone,
and how that Broadway show lasted for so many
long.
years, and it's still kind of ongoing with different characters. Well, with different actors. Sorry. But yeah, so I think now that brings us into the next topic. Natalie, do you want to take it away with Wicked on Broadway?
In the costume. So the background of Wicked, it's musical that first premiered in 2003, but is based on the 1995 novel of Wicked, the Life and the Times of the Wicked Witch of the West. Again,
more backstory
on the witches. Who are they? Why'd they become who they are? Because they are pivotal characters from the 1939 version of the Wonderful
Wizard of Oz.
They are pivotal, but you want to know a little bit of their story because we know that they were friends, they were sisters. Why?
But why? What happened?
What
was
happened?
the drama?
What's
the tea?
What's the tea? You know? And so in this novel, now turned into Broadway, now turned into a film, we get more into depth into the characters and you're understanding them.
And highlighting them.
So this particular novel was written by Gregory Maguire. The novel itself, it's a reimagining of the land of Oz and tells the story of Elphaba, and the future, which is the future Wicked Witch of the West, and her complex relationship with Glinda, the Good Witch. Glinda.
Yeah.
The Good Witch that we know, and as well we know the two. Yeah. What's that? What's the tea? Sis?
What's the tea?
So the musical explores the untold story, the backstory of these characters,
which is what our podcast is about.
It's focusing again on the themes of friendship, on identity, and the nature of good and evil. It's like a different perspective of these characters that we've known from an old film.
I think it also like makes them the main characters, which is also a nice way to see them versus them kind of being side characters to Dorothy.
Also, as we all know, what makes a villain a villain?
Yeah.
We have Loki, who is someone who's also a green.
Also, can we talk about that? I think when it comes to villains, like I could also think of Shigo from Kim Possible. The green color, I feel like, is very much a villain. Like color kind of vibe.
But again, what is their backstory? Why did they become
the villain?
Why they categorize them as a villain? Which in the film Wicked Part 1, Part 2, and in the Broadway we get
kind of that story.
So now to the
costume,
the production. This movie in particular had been in development for many years for them to get the whole setting right, get the actors, the writing, just in general the whole thing. In general, when it's a Broadway, there's already so much work. But this is the thing, they don't have breaks or pauses. They go in a full long run. They have the intermission type of thing, but it's like, it's live. If anything goes wrong, in the moment they have to kind of go with it.
I think that's why I think Broadway, it really should get more credit than it does, because it's almost like it's all shot in one take. But there's another thing too, you have to captivate the audience in a different way, because I feel like with film you can get close-ups, you obviously, how Natalie says, you have breaks in between, like it's like you call cut, whatever, right? You can do the scene multiple times. Here you get one shot, and it has to relate not only to the person who's in the front row, but to to the person who's all the way at the back.
At the back.
And they have to feel the emotion. They have to hear, like, everything, you know?
Because you don't got a big screen on the TV. You have these characters far away that you have to, like,
feel it.
And also, it's this thing where it's like, imagine for the actors, like, if they get sick, if they get hurt, they need to, like,
the show keeps going.
Also, like, they have probably understudies, but you probably think, like, all this hard work for me to one show and then that's it. Like, no, you know, like, they dedicate so much of their time and, like, life into this particular Broadway musical.
It's a thing where it's not just like, you know, a movie or a show or something can get filmed over weeks or months, right? This is similar, but this is like the same show every single night. So you're talking 2.5 hours, 2 hours, whatever the show length may be, but it's every single night. And so it's exciting, and it's also could be daunting, but it's just very, I think, inspiring too.
And so now the film, which again there was many years of it. Universal Pictures was the one that picked it up, this musical, but it had so many, like, delays in the movie that we've heard when they were making it, the amount of delays that there was. You know,
in production, even in casting.
So the director of Crazy Rich Asians and In the Heights, also, I love Crazy Rich Asians. I cry in that movie. I don't know why, but
it's such a good one.
It's such a good one. I watched In the Heights too. Really good.
Also a musical.
Turned into a film. So the director, John M. Chu, is the director of Wicked.
Part 1 and Part 2.
Part 2. He has a involvement with fans. So he has a strong, like, track record of musicals and the visual, like, of the stunning films, but he wants to get with the fans. Like, this is for the fans,
to make it authentic,
for them to love it, to them not only to see it if they saw it in the Broadway show, but now, like, in the theater. Like, being displayed in a film in the theater is such a big thing for a lot of people. So it's like he wants to bring those characters to life, but stick to the original script, to stick to the original storyline that we know. So we have the cast, which is Alphaba, that is played by Cynthia, I don't want to butcher her last name, Erivo, who is a Tony Award-winning actress and singer.
Powerful stuff. Her voice is
powerful.
Crazy good.
She starred in a Broadway show called
The Color Purple.
She's well known for her Broadway like performances.
And I think she's also having her debut album.
She's having her debut album.
Come out.
So beautiful.
Beautiful voice.
Then we have Ariana Grande, who plays Glinda, the Good Witch.
We know Ari.
We know her. Was in Nickelodeon as a kid, but she did Broadway before.
She did
Broadway before, then went into Nickelodeon doing some TV, then did her music career, has been in the music career for a long time, didn't do too much acting. We just thought that she was going to be focused onto music. I feel like she knows what she wants, and those are the parts she goes after. And that's very much what she considers to want to act for. And Wicked is actually one of her favorite Broadway shows. And she, as a little kid, had always wanted to play Glinda. And so to get to play it, but in the big screen, like, you can even see the pictures of her when she's little. She went to go visit. And when the film came out, she has a picture of her when she went with her grandma to go see the Broadway show. And then she has a picture with her grandma going to go see...
Which is so special.
The show, the movie that she got starred in. And we have other actors that we know. We have Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, wait, is it Goldblum? Yes, we know him.
Yes.
The guy from Jurassic Park.
Then we have, as well, from Crazy Rich Asians. Is it no? No. She came out in Everything, Everywhere at Once. The main actress, I forgot her name. She's really, really good.
We have the guy from SNL.
We got the guy from SNL, who technically people in SNL are not allowed to leave. But Ariana Grande helped him to come and
like, he had to keep going back and forth in order to do that. So, like, he would be Monday through Friday, like, on set, and then he'd fly out and then do his lines Saturday, which is also intense because you're learning two things at once. And if you know it, like, SNL skits, like, you have a whole bunch of skits.
So much
it's not just
to get
one.
through. And as well, it's like an open live studio most of the time. So
I think it was like a few months going back and forth. That's kind of crazy.
And then we have the Bridgerton King himself.
Yep. Which also he was doing like 3 projects at once. He was doing that. He was doing Bridgerton, and I think he was doing his other film. Which is like crazy. But I think that also shows that these actors love the art of it.